Hey guys, welcome back to the next chapter. So for this chapter, I'll be mainly focusing on polishing up the surface to look a lot cleaner. And to do that, I use the method of retopping, polygrouping, and creasing to get that smooth, hard surface edge look. Now, I didn't realize how long this process took to explain, so I didn't have time to explain other personal experience like I kind of explained in the previous chapter about the whole LinkedIn stuff. So this chapter will purely be a tutorial episode, but for the next chapter, it'll be mostly just pretty much the same process as this chapter. So yeah, with that being said, I'll be diving in more about my personal experience for the next chapter. And yeah, with that being said, let's get started. All right, so welcome to the cleanup stage. So before I start retopping things, I'd like to organize each pieces into certain folders. Okay, so for example, like let's say this whole sketch, right? Like it's gonna be annoying to deal with the entire, or let's say if I were to focus on the head, and if this entire body's in the way, then it's gonna get annoying. So I'm gonna have to like chop it up to kind of break it up into each section. So to do that, I'm gonna hold Control and choose my mask lasso tool and basically select this entire head, or I guess like the pieces that you want to chop off, so maybe something like that. And then I'm going to go to my box, mark mask pen again, and then I'm going to just kind of fill up the areas that I want it, I want to organize into the head. Let's solo this so I can see which part I have selected. So I'll be ahead, and then yeah, you see how like some areas could be a little hard to understand. I'll just do something like that. So yeah, having a better defined sketch will be more ideal, but this will do. And then if you go to polyframe and press Control W, Control Z, Control W, you can kind of see the colors different, right? So I'm gonna hold Control Shift Tap to isolate it. Split hidden, oops, cancel. Split hidden, there you go. And then, so now I have two pieces. So I have the body and the head separate, right? If I want to dynamesh it, you could do that. Just gonna fill the hole. So it's just up to you. So yeah, there I have the head and the body separated. Now what I'm gonna do is go under Subtool and make a new folder, which is right here. And then I'll call it head. Boom. Okay. And oops, I accidentally got the body in there, so I'm just gonna grab it and just kind of throw it outside because that's not my folder, or that's not what I want. And where did the folder go? Well, I guess the folder disappears if you just kind of like kick everything out of it. So I'm gonna select my head again and do that again. New folder, head, boom. Okay, so now I have the head inside this folder, and to make it easier, I'm going to hold Shift and click on this button right here. So that is going to bring the folder all the way to the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, oops, is, oh, I accidentally changed the color. I'm going to choose each piece that's within the head folder, throw it into the head folder. Okay, so hold Shift and throw that up there, boom. And then I'm going to turn off the head eyeball so I know what's inside and what's not. So this piece right here, hold Shift, throw it up there, boom. This piece right here, hold Shift, boom, throw it inside the folder. Okay, so boom, yeah, there's all the head inside one folder, and there you go. Just for the heck of it, I'm gonna do that one more time with these wires too. So again, I'm gonna make a new folder, call it wires, and I'm gonna put hydraulics too. So wires and hydraulics. Okay, wire hydraulics. Alright, so I'm gonna grab this, throw it up there once again, and turn off the eyeball, and so that I know which piece I selected. So I'm gonna select that, throw it into wire hydraulics, boom, grab that piece, put it in there, this piece right here. Okay, so yeah, it's just kind of up to you on how many folders, how organized you want things to kind of be. Again, it kind of saves headaches later on with all these organized into one folder, or different folders, so that you know what to turn on, what to turn off later, and kind of work on each piece at a time. Okay, So there you go. Last piece of wire. Cool. All right. So yeah, there we have it. Okay, so now we are ready to retop. So let's focus just on the head. All right, and I'm going to this piece right here. And let's start off easy and focus on this piece right here, okay? So I'm gonna solo it so I could just focus on just this piece. And make sure before I retop it, you kind of understand or you see where the transitions are, where you want the hard transition and soft transition of the edges are. So like for instance right here, I'm just gonna kind of like harden the surfaces so that I could see this transition happening right here, right? And something like the bottom too right here, probably like have this kind of curve out like that. So transition out like this, kind of harden this surface right here too. Okay, so yeah, I think that's good right here. Transition right here. Okay. All right, so I'm ready to do that. Make sure I have this folder open, and I know that I have this piece. Okay, so I see a lot of ZBrush artists use the whole Z-remesh method, which is completely fine. I know if you guys look at YouTube, mainly it's the Z-remesher method to start cleaning up each individual pieces. It is fast and it works, but for me, I kind of like to have full control over my surfaces, so that's why I tend to like to retop it manually on my own. So what I mean by that is, first, the way I do it is duplicate just this head part right here. Okay, so I have two of these heads, right? And make sure, again, like I said, the folder is open, because if I were to duplicate the folder, you know, sometimes I do this by accident. If I have the folder selected and duplicate it, it's going to duplicate the whole entire head. So make sure the folder is open and you have just the head selected. Okay, so while you have the head, once you duplicate the head, okay, it doesn't matter which head you choose. So we have these two, right? I'm going to turn on the polyframe, and I'm gonna hold control and just kind of like scribble that one section with control, okay? And control W, so I have this little piece of what should we call it, a different polygroup. Control Shift as isolate it, and then delete hidden. Let me just make sure I know, because I have my UI set up this way, but delete hidden is I believe under geometry, mesh topology, delete hidden right there. Okay, so I have that right here. So delete hidden. All right, so now I have nothing other than if I were to select, so it's just that piece. Okay, so I have mirror and weld as well. Again, mirror and weld I believe is under mesh topology as well. So mirror and weld, because there's that little bit of kind of symmetry that's a bit off. So if I press mirror and weld, this will be safe. And make sure this guy is mirror and welded too. Mirror and weld. Okay, so now I have this piece and this piece exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm gonna just select Control Shift and just select that one piece right there. Okay, and then again delete and hidden, so I have plane. So all this, I just wanted to make a plane. Okay, start off with a plane, and you could obviously insert a plane and work off like that. But then, you know, I already have. If I were to start off with this, then it kind of gives me a head start with what a plane should start off with. Okay, so now that I have the single polygon, I have a Z modeler selected, and what I'm going to do is hover over the vertices. Okay, so you see how it has the move points. Hold space, make sure move is on for the vertice, and then I believe in default it's free move, but make sure to turn on snap to surface. Okay, so then if I were to move the vertices, it will just snap to the surface of the face. Okay, and then make sure on the the face, keep it polygroup, not QMesh, and you'll see why I want to choose polygroup for now. And another thing, on the edge, if I were to hover over the edge, hold space, make sure extrude is on. Okay. So with that setup, I'm going to start moving the vertices to where I want it to, just like this, and then just hover over the edge and extrude the face, or extrude the edge to just kind of fill in space once again. Boom, boom, and where should this be? Extrude that. Maybe this should kind of come in. And then these vertices will snap automatically if they're kind of close enough. Okay, this piece is a little tricky, but I will just do that and then extrude this. And something like that is good, right? And I will just drag this, and it should snap onto these edge, okay, or these vertices. So just something like that. All right, and then I'm gonna keep going. Maybe I will extrude that, snap onto the surface. This piece right here. Could probably extrude a surface right there too, just like that. Okay, so this right here, extrude, snap to the vertices, extrude, snap to the vertices, and extrude, so that. Then, wherever you have the transition, I'm going to keep extruding and then basically filling up the space, okay? Something like that, it's good, like that. And here. And again, make sure, be careful, like if you're like this, if you're behind some mesh, and then if I were to extrude, that vertice is gonna like fly all the way, so make sure you're just focusing on the head. Okay. I'm gonna fill in this piece too, so almost done. Just something like that. And maybe this piece, probably don't need two edges, but I think that should be good. Okay, so yep, something like that. So now that I have this piece filled out, I'm going to go to geometry, and under dynamic subdivision, I'm going to turn on the dynamic subdivision and turn off the smooth subdivision, okay? And also turn on increase the thickness. And instead of going outward, at the moment the offset is 0, so offset 0 means it's gonna expand towards the front and towards the back, so I'm just wanting to expand towards the back like that, okay? And make sure, be careful with your thickness, because the more thick it is, it's gonna start colliding back there, okay? So I'm going to kind of drop the thickness a bit, so something like that, and that should be good, okay? Maybe I could increase a little bit more thickness, okay? So yeah, got that little thick piece going. And yeah, from here I'm going to use my snake hook brush to just kind of like push and pull the pieces to just kind of come out. And one other thing I could do is use clay buildup and select this piece and just kind of push this piece back as well, okay? Because now that I'm done with this sketch, I could just focus on now I'm done with the retop, I could just focus on this clean piece and kind of push the sketch piece back a bit, okay? So there you have it, and just kind of focus on this piece. Okay, so that thickness. There you go. Cool. So now that I have the thickness with this mesh, how I want it to look, I'm going to apply this. Okay, so once I apply it, this box is going to be how it is. Okay, so you see how I could adjust the box inside of the box now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, once again, on dynamic subdivision, I'm going to turn on the dynamic, but be careful. You see how the faces are kind of like extreme off each other? That's because I'm, within the box, it's applying a thickness. So make sure the thickness is turned on. Don't deal with the segments. Thickness turned off. Oh god. Okay, whatever. Thickness turned off, and then what I'm going to do now is turn on the smooth subdivision. So one thing you might want to notice is that I have the smooth subdivision up here too, because I'm going to use that a lot. Okay, so I have the smooth subdivision, turn that up to maybe 2-ish for now, or 3 to make it smooth. But as you can see, all the edges are pretty much, all the hard surfaces or the hard edges, transitions are all gone. So what I'm gonna first do now is, under normal, where is it? Polygroup. Under polygroup, I'm going to group by normal. Okay, so based off the max angle of the turning edges, it's gonna apply these polygroups automatically. All right, and then again, notice that I have group normal up here because I'm going to use that a lot. And then I'm going to crease the polygroup. Okay, so to go to crease polygroup, I'm going to go to geometry, go to Crease, and then Crease Polygroup right here. Same, I use this a lot, so I have it up here as well. So Crease Polygroup, and boom, kind of added these a little more hard edge, especially on the back side, right? And then, oops, whoa, okay, all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crease level, drop this crease level down because it's 15. Again, notice I use this a lot. So I'm going to drop this like maybe 2-ish. So 2 with crease level, 3 with the smooth subdivision. This kind of works well for me to get this sort of harder edge on the back side for now. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror and weld this just because they're 2 same pieces. And from here, this is where my Z modeler is going to come in handy. So I'm going to have Z modeler selected, polygroup. Remember on the face, I have the polygroup. This is where the polygroup is going to happen, okay? So I'm going to hold shift or hold alt and click on the faces that I want different polygroups. So boom, like that. Maybe this piece. If I tap alt while holding the face, then that's going to change between different polygroups. So there you have it. I believe I had this whole top part a polygroup. I think. Shoot, I should have. And this piece right here, right? Like that. Oh, and let's say I missed a edge, right? So if I were to click on this or click on this surface and hold press shift, it's going to adopt this color. So I could just click on that to make that purple, okay? And if it's kind of hard to kind of click on it, you could also turn off the dynamic subdivision off so that it is easier to see. Okay, so once I have that, I'm going to crease polygroup and then turn on dynamic subdivision. Voila! Now it's this nice hard surface, right? If I were to turn on polyframe, it's kind of cleaner and how I want the edges to turn. Okay, and you could also bump up the smooth subdivision to make the edges a little more smoother, like that. Okay, however you want it to be. Okay, so just to make sure that each polygroup has the right transition with the hard edges, I'm gonna, select these faces that I want the hard surface or hard edges to be, and maybe this piece right here too. I'm missing alt. Maybe this piece too. And then press Crease Polygroup, so it will give that better, harder transition. Okay. So I'm probably going to fast forward on this next section, but focus on something bigger, like this whole back jaw piece right here. Okay. All right, so here we go once again, retopping this in full speed or faster speed. So again, before you retop, make sure all the hard edges, make sure you sculpt out and understand where the hard edges versus the round edges are. And then I'm going to duplicate it, just again mask that little section, isolate it, delete hidden, and make sure mirror and weld. Always mirror and weld. And with the Z modeler, vertice is move and snap to surface, and edge is to extrude. Okay, so here we go. And notice right here how I'm kind of applying the surface over that little detail, that little line, kind of like hump detail that's kind of coming out. So when you guys keep in mind, when you guys do the cleanup stage, all those micro details, don't worry about it. That's something that we will come back to, come visit once we are completed with the cleanup stage. For now, this is to pretty much fill in the bigger shape needed. And yeah, during the detail stage, we are going to come visit those details once again. But keep in mind, so what I like to do is I have like few files saved or a couple files saved. So I have the sketch file saved and differently compared to this cleanup stage, okay? Just so that once I go into the detail stage, I open my sketch stage to kind of make sure or understand where I put the details, just because once I start filling in this these faces, I'm gonna lose a lot of details. So just so that I could remember where I put the details, it's good to have a different file saved. Okay, so here we go again. This is a little more of a complicated piece right here, where I'm gonna have this little vent thing, I guess. you know, it's a little detaily, but it will look nice once I kind of apply the proper poly group and you know, just you know, retop it a certain way. Um, so yeah, I mean, you know, like as a for a 3D artist perspective, this might be not be like a clean way of like retopping things, but again, like, you know, I'm not really caring for the polyflow or anything. This is for my later use to kind of get that clean, hard surface edge and a good starting point to start off or as a detail. Notice right here where I just like kind of these points meet in the edge. So every time you guys, it's just something that I like to do is once these points meet in the center, make sure to mirror and weld, just because when you use ZModeler, sometimes I don't know why, but it kind of gets off-centered, probably because, you know, there's ZBrush is dealing with like so many polygons that it's hard to keep things completely symmetrized. So yeah, it's just a rule of thumb. You know, it's a habit for me to just constantly mirror and weld, and especially when these vertices meet right in the center, okay? Just because, again, like these vertices will kind of shift a bit when you do this for too long. Okay, so yeah, just a rule of thumb, just mirror and weld constantly when you guys do this, okay? So yeah, I'm about to fill in this whole section right about now. Cool. Okay, so just kind of like using the move tool to make sure these vertices are at the right area. Oh yeah, I forgot about this vent. So just filling in the vent, making sure I understand where these edges will turn and where I'm going to apply a nice poly group for the transition of hard surface. Okay, and just kind of make sure where I'm gonna fill it up. Yeah, so here, like, there's sometimes the n-gons that you gotta deal with. Just kind of like test it out, see which direction feels nice. I realized right there where this might not look nice, so I'm just gonna triangulate it to just kind of have a better flow. Like I said, I'm not like a really pure 3D artist, so I'm not really thinking too much when it comes to like a proper 3D modeling or 3 polyflow. This is for, again, prepping me for the next detailed stage. Okay, so there you go. Just got everything filled up and making sure I'm not missing anything up there right here. Kind of filling this area too. Okay, so I think I'm good now. And what I'm gonna do, again, just mirror weld, geometry, dynamic subdivision, and just kind of apply thickness with offset of -100, okay? And for now, turn off smooth subdivision as well, so that things are still looking very low poly. And here, again, I'm just kind of adjusting the edges to make sure it looks nice. Okay, just kind of like pushing and pulling using a move brush at this time, because I don't want it to snap onto the surface. So I apply the dynamic subdivision, and now instead of we're dealing with the thickness, I'm going to apply the smooth subdivision. And again, with the faces, I'm going to apply polygroup to the areas where I want to have a nice hard surface transition. Apply the crease polygroup to just kind of get that crease where I apply the polygroup, right? And yeah, and like this is the fun part for me. Like I like how, like, once I have these meshes kind of like filled in, all these gaps are pretty much kind of what gives this nice transition. And right here, you see how the vertices are kind of jumbled up. So this is where I like to use one ZModeler once again, and instead of moving the vertices, I hold space and change it to stitch right here. Okay, so I'm going to start stitching the vertices to each other, and by doing so, it's basically cleaning up the unnecessary vertices, so it won't jungle things up way too much. Okay, so yeah, it's just kind of a combo of that and moving it to make sure things are kind of like cleaner and more manageable. And especially like this part doesn't really matter if the mesh is kind of like jammed in and you don't see it. But if you are gonna see it, then it's nice to just keep things all nice and clean, so that later on it will save you the headache of kind of dealing with the really kind of messy area. So again, like right here, it's a bit messy, right? So I'm gonna just stitch these vertices together to just kind of make things manageable again, right? So yeah. That's another Z modeler tool. Slicing might be a good option to use to just kind of like give a edge or vertices an extra polygon. So something to consider as well. So right here, I'm going to add a polygroup and crease. I just one other thing I want you to guys to notice is the uncrease all as well. Okay, because sometimes like when you do the group by normal, it might give a crease or polygroup to an area that you don't want to. So to get rid of that, I basically uncrease everything and recrease the polygroups where again, so that it will apply the proper polygroup to where I want. So yeah, I think things are looking clean, and as you can see, this vent area, like by applying a proper polygroup, it gives this nice hard clean edge. And yeah, basically what I'm gonna do is push the, just still giving the polygroup, but then like with my clay buildup, I'm going to just kind of like start pushing these the old sketch inside, so I don't need it anymore, right? So there you go. And yeah, there you have it. Like it's this nice, I have the nice clean retop section ready, and just ready to move on to the next section, right? So yeah, there you go. All right, so there you have it. I got this big piece completed. So now off to the entire body. Okay, so this is gonna take a while and it's tedious, but it's well worth it. Few things to keep in mind. Make sure to kind of, during this stage, keep things airtight. So meaning, so for example, this piece right here, you see how there's like this pinching, like this little, how should I say this, a cheek piece, and how there's this like a little pinchy area right here. So try to resolve a way to kind of avoid these parts. Either I'm still kind of debating what I'm going to do, but maybe I might bring this piece a bit more up so it won't give that pinchy piece, or connect it onto this, connect it as piece of this whole entire piece right here, right? So I'm still kind of debating what I'm going to do, but try to avoid those pinchy pieces, and of course use your sculpt tools and move tools to help that. And another thing, don't worry about like little details like here, or like this hole, or even like this piece right here, right? All right. Bigger details like that, maybe you could sculpt it, but yeah, definitely just don't worry about these guys. Just make a plane over it, because we're going to add details like these holes, little nuts and bolts later on during the detail stage. Okay, so with that being said, I'll see you guys on the detail stage. Bye.